amazing opportunity to be in the midst of such a powerful group of change agents who are committed to a more inclusive and vibrant financial future in America. I count it a pleasure to be here with you. Before I get started, I want to introduce you to someone who literally shapes every word that I will share with you today. This is my mother, Mary Jetson. She's 91, a widow, a woman of great faith, sharp wit, a determined spirit. She has nurtured children. She has served her community. She has endured everything that this country has thrown her way, from segregation to economic downturns. Still she endures, still she thrives, still she shows up with dignity and purpose on a daily basis. But she is now also navigating the uncertainties of aging in a world that far too often overlooks the value and financial well-being of elders like her. But I've come to reframe this story from one of deficit, one of loss, to one of possibilities. Because I am firmly convinced that aging, and in particular Black aging, has transformative potential to impact our communities and systems across this country. But in order to unleash this transformative potential, there are some significant shifts in our way of thinking, doing, and being. And so I'd like to share a few of those with you and explore them in ways that will hopefully make a difference. The first, I believe, is that we need to investigate the intersections. What do I mean by that? Well, financial health is not a neutral experience. It is impacted by factors such as race, age, geography, gender, and ability. And all of these factors intersect to create a myriad of individualized and unique experiences in the world around us. But not only do they intersect, these factors also conspire together and compound the financial experiences of Black and brown people, older adults, women, and people with disabilities. Yet, in communities across this country, Black elders display financial ingenuity and intergenerational leadership in their communities. But we can't ignore the realities of these factors as we see them. We need look no further than the persistent disparities that exist in access to credit and banking and the tools that allow us to create wealth, sustain wealth, and transfer wealth. These historical injustices of redlining and exclusionary lending echo even today with a home ownership gap that is as significant today as it was when segregation was legal in the United States. Economic imbalances, volatility in bank accounts and capital that is disposable, place people in vulnerable positions all across this country. And unless and until we begin to pay attention to the intersections, the this and that, the Black and aging, the aging and in the South, we will miss the opportunities to truly equip people in the ways that have the most meaning for us or for them. And so it requires of us that we center disaggregated data, not to discover disparities, but to measure the potency of our impact and to truly get to know the people behind the numbers. But in addition to this notion of investigating the intersection, I believe that it is important that we adopt a mindset of build, not fix. You see, neither my mother or the community that she lives in is broken and in need of fixing. What they could both benefit from are people who were willing to take the time to understand their strengths and to invest in their well-being. These communities, thank you, these communities are not unfamiliar with financial cooperation, church tithes, informal lending circles. In my childhood, we had the rent parties, or if you were really well-to-do, the pay the house note party. But people came together to support one another in formal and informal ways. And across this spectrum, we find black elders who are serving as anchors of trust, bringing communities together in important ways. We would do well to build with them and not for them. But what that means, dear friends, is we need to be willing to connect with and invest in community-based organizations and institutions who already have relationships with, who understand how to engage and how to serve the people that we ostensibly want to impact. It also means being willing to convene cross-sector gatherings that center the lived experience of people in communities. It means forging intergenerational conversations where older and younger people in communities can come together and co-create responses to the challenges that are impacting them both at the same time. The image there of the Architecture for Action is from the Black Economic Alliance. And in service to their policy agenda of work, wages, and wealth, they released their Architecture for Action. And it is a compelling roadmap of structural change being aligned with community interest and design. It's about building with them and not for them. But in addition to this notion of investigating the intersection and build, not fix, is centering people, not systems. Traditional systems show up and they are concerned about issues of efficiency and scale and institutional logic. But real transformation requires asking simple questions such as, what does this person need? What matters to them? What is of significance and import from their perspective? You see, centering people, not systems, means that we roll out interventions and innovations that respect people's goals, their dignity, and their traditions, while at the same time co-creating solutions on the front end rather than asking for feedback on the back end. It also means having authentic participation, positioning elders in meaningful advice and counsel roles, allowing them to serve as champions and advocates in meaningful ways and meaningful positions. So I believe that a key to unleashing this transformative potential that I am absolutely convinced is in the DNA of aging black people across this country demands of us to investigate the intersections, to arrive with a mindset to build, not fix, and to center people and not our systems. Now, Aging While Black is a movement across this nation that is founded and built upon 3 pillars. And we believe that those 3 pillars have and are able to be applied to every area of the human existence. And so the same is true when we consider financial health. The first of the pillars is recalibrate the village. This notion of the village runs deep in black culture. It is why my great-grandparents were able to thrive in their community, live in their home, and both die in their beds in their home in their 90s because of the village that surrounded them. This village has been devalued, disrupted, and dismissed in far too many instances. It is this connecting of community networks in ways that center people and their well-being. What would happen if financial health, rather than being an array of individual actors, became a collective endeavor, including those who are interested in fintech and those who are part of CDFIs and credit unions, joined with congregations and Greek letter organizations and others, all centering the financial health of black elders in communities. But not only must we recalibrate the village, the second is embracing innovation and rapid change. Unquestionably, we live in a world that is increasingly digital. And so, yes, please increase the opportunities for access through the use of technology. Please make all of the engagements and encounters more intuitive based upon the use of artificial intelligence. But I would encourage you not to lose sight of 2 things. First of all, there is an inherent bias in technology as it relates to people of color. It is proven over and over and over and over and over again. And so as you trumpet your newest digital intervention, ask the question, how does this engage with people of color? Is it intuitive or not? And one of the ways, secondly, to ensure that is to actually hire, to engage, and to contract with black technology developers, to make them a part of your team, so that you hear the voices in design rather than complaints on the back end. The last of these pillars is leaning into Sankofa. Sankofa is a West African concept that says we must fetch what is behind in order to make benevolent use for the future. You may have seen the Sankofa bird who is flying in one direction while looking in another, in many instances with an egg in its beak. Side note, the first tattoo I got at age 66 was of the Sankofa bird. Black communities have always approached financial issues from a perspective of faith, obligation, and reciprocity. And that very mindset lives in the being of aging black people across this country. What would your work be like if they led, if they showed, if they advised on how to make a difference in their communities? I commend you for the work that you do. But every day in America, 11,000 people turn 65. It started a few years ago and will continue until the year 2040. In 2034, for the first time in America's history, there will be more people over the age of 65 than under the age of 18. In slightly more than 20 years, the number of black people over the age of 65 will triple from 4 million to 12 million. I would argue that it's in our collective best interest to tap into this resource and unleash the transformative potential found therein. Thank you, and God bless you.